The clock struck midnight as I settled onto the couch, the soft glow of the television casting dancing shadows around the room. My parents were out of town for the weekend, leaving me alone in our old house that always seemed to creak and groan with a life of its own. Despite being 18, the idea of being home alone at night still sent shivers down my spine. I tried to shake off the unease as I focused on the movie playing, but every now and then, I thought I heard faint whispers, like distant conversations carried on the wind. I attributed it to my imagination running wild in the empty house, and I turned up the volume, hoping to drown out any stray noises. Just as the tension in the movie reached its peak, a sudden draft swept through the room, extinguishing the candles on the mantel and sending a chill down my spine. I wrapped my arms around myself, suddenly feeling vulnerable in the dimly lit room. My gaze darted around, searching for the source of the cold breeze, but the windows were securely shut and the front door was locked. Brushing it off as a draft from an open window somewhere in the house, I got up and relit the candles. The soft flickering flames seemed to offer a sense of comfort, and I resumed watching the movie, determined not to let my imagination get the best of me. But then, I heard it. Footsteps. Footsteps that were not mine. My heart raced and I muted the television, straining to listen. The footsteps were faint, as if someone were walking gingerly on the old wooden floors, avoiding making too much noise. Panic gripped me, and I grabbed my phone, ready to call the police if needed. I tiptoed toward the hallway, my footsteps echoing in the hushed house. The footsteps seemed to be coming from the direction of the staircase, and the thought of an intruder ascending those steps made my blood run cold. Gathering my courage, I crept up the stairs, my breath held in anticipation. At the top of the stairs, I saw a figure, a silhouette illuminated by the moonlight streaming through the window at the end of the hallway. My heart pounded in my chest, and I felt a wave of relief wash over me as I recognized the figure as my own reflection. It was just a play of light and shadows, my mind playing tricks on me. I let out a nervous chuckle, berating myself for letting my imagination run wild. Still, the unease lingered, like an itch beneath my skin. I turned on the hallway light, banishing the shadows, and decided it was time to head back downstairs and finish the movie. But as I descended the stairs, I froze in my tracks. The front door, it was open, just a crack. My heart raced, and 1,000 thoughts raced through my mind. Had someone broken in? Did I leave it unlocked by mistake? I couldn't remember. My breath caught in my throat as I peered through the crack, the darkness outside seeming to stretch infinitely. The sensation of being watched washed over me, and I pushed the door closed, locking it with trembling hands. The safety of the house felt like a fragile bubble, and I was acutely aware of the vulnerability of my situation. I retreated to the living room, my heart still racing. The movie had long been forgotten, and I switched on all the lights, banishing the shadows that seemed to linger in every corner. My phone buzzed, a text from a friend checking in on me, sensing that something was off. I quickly typed a reply, trying to maintain a facade of normalcy. As I sat on the couch, trying to calm my racing thoughts, I heard a faint scratching sound, almost like nails against a surface. My eyes darted around, searching for the source of the noise. It seemed to be coming from behind the walls, as if something were trying to claw its way into the room. Fear tightened its grip on me, and I clutched my phone, ready to dial for help at a moment's notice. The scratching continued, growing louder and more insistent. It seemed to be coming from all directions, surrounding me, closing in on me. Panic surged within me and I jumped to my feet, determined to find the source of the noise. I followed the sound to the basement door, my heart in my throat as I stood before it. The scratching was coming from below, from the darkness that lay beyond that door. Every instinct told me to run, to flee the house and seek safety, but a morbid curiosity compelled me to open the door and descend into the depths. The basement was colder than the rest of the house, the air thick with an oppressive weight. The scratching was louder here, echoing off the walls. I shone my flashlight around, my hands trembling as I tried to pinpoint the source of the noise. And then I saw it, a pair of glowing eyes in the corner of the room, reflecting my flashlight's beam. My breath caught in my throat as I watched the eyes blink slowly, a guttural growl accompanying each blink. The creature's form was obscured in the darkness, but its presence was suffocating. As the eyes moved closer, I turned and ran, the basement door slamming shut behind me. Adrenaline fueled my escape, and I burst through the front door, gasping for breath as I stumbled onto the porch. The night air was cold against my skin, and I didn't stop running until I reached the safety of a neighbor's house. The police arrived shortly after, and a thorough search of my house revealed nothing out of the ordinary. They dismissed my story as a result of my heightened anxiety and imagination. But I knew what I had seen and heard. The footsteps, the scratching, the glowing eyes. Something was in that house with me, something that defied explanation. To this day, I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched, that there's something lurking just beyond the edge of my vision. The house that was once my childhood sanctuary has become a place of fear and uncertainty. And as I lie in bed at night, the memory of that night still haunts me. The night I was home alone and came face to face with a presence from the shadows, a presence that should never have been there.